Three eval giveaway, bro. That's nuts. That's a lot. I'm gonna apply to the giveaway and Peep is gonna accidentally give it to me. Can you imagine? Alright, so it looks like ES came up, tapped into the 5 minute bearish gap, and is now respecting it, pushing down lower following NQ's move. Alright, let's see if it actually inverses. Alright. See, that actually inverse. I think if we're truly going to inverse this 4 hour, then ES has a long way to go. I think NQ wants to come down and take out that previous day low if we inverse this 4 hour, but I am aware that we still haven't retraced on NQ, so that is a possibility, which is why I'm very low size on this trade. All right, it's good displacement. All right, yeah, I'm definitely moving my stop down. All right, so it already hit that 1 to 1.6. I think this could go lower. I really think like NQ wants to completely just dump. So I'm gonna hold this for a little longer, but I do want to continue seeing like very strong displacement lower. All right, I'm moving my stop to that 1 minute swing high. Secure more profits. All right, so no matter what, we're securing a 1 to 1 right here. All right, so no matter what happens, we just secured a 1 to 1. Now we're trying to go for a 1 to 3. There's one more big push. One more for Big John Bosh. No. All right, bang. Out there for a 1 to 1. Easy in and out right there. Easy dubs, easy dubs. That's how we come back into the fucking week. Dude, yeah, you're cooking. That's lit. That's lit. Bang, bro. People hit a little 800, little 800, little light 800. That's lit, bro. That's lit. And this is probably still gonna play out. But I'm glad that we secured a 1 to 1. Yo, no. No's gonna get banned, bro. No's actually gonna get banned. Nah, bro, it's still like we still have tomorrow and the day after. Alright, bro. Never say never. Say, don't you worry, child. That was awesome. That was such a great trade. Like good instinct right there. You know, we had a bullish bias, but we saw that um NQ was definitely gonna come down and inverse these 4 hours. And once we take out these 4 hours, what is the draw on liquidity that we're targeting for the inverse of the 4 hours? This previous day low, right? So sometimes you kind of just got to make that game time decision where okay, you do have a bullish bias coming into the morning, great, but what is market open telling you, right? Because market open isn't always going to be in line with the higher time frame bias. Market open completely dumped. It was very obvious that we're going to inverse these 4 hours on NQ, and then ES was came up, tapped into this 5 minute bearish gap, respected it, had a 1 minute inverse. While NQ is consistently just dumping, 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 we come up, we tap into a 5 minute bearish gap on ES, we have a 1 minute inverse. It's like literally giving it to us on a silver platter. It's like, yo, ES is about to come match what NQ is doing. Do you want to take advantage of it? Yes or no? Bang. Right? That simple. Does anyone have any questions on this? Like why we took that trade? Needs an explanation for anything? Here for you guys if you need. I still like it, but I'm definitely gonna lower my size. Maybe even wait for a little pullback. All right, let's see what happens. Definitely need to see this S&T get invalidated like immediately. All right, well, I'm accepting my risk. Whatever happens, happens. I'm gonna let it happen. And either way, hop off. Right? If we win, we hop off. If we lose, we hop off. Just because we already hit a big trade in the morning. So win or loss, we're ending up green on the day. I'm gonna take a con out at a 1 to 1. Tapped into it. Bang! TP1 just hit. Let's fucking go. TP1 right there. Move stop to break even. 1.8K on the day. That's nuts. You, what is good? Sorry, I'm in bed, bro. I just like after this trading day, I was a little wiped from surfing yesterday, so I'm like, let me take a little nap. But whatever, let's do this trade recap before I go take a little nap. Coming into the morning, we had a bullish bias. Sorry about that. So we had a bullish bias coming into the morning because we were currently respecting this 4 hour bullish gap that you see on my screen right here that I have highlighted on NQ, right? So we had already tapped into this. We had already tapped into the 2 hour, as you can see this wick here. And it seemed like we really were respecting this 4 hour structure with not previous day high, but with this daily bearish fair value gap above, which I truly believe to be the main target. So what I saw coming into the morning was two really good targets.
either this daily bearish for a value gap if we're going to long, or this daily bullish for a value gap if we're going to short, targeting that previous day low. So those were both of my targets. I even though I was bullish, I did see that we had a huge bearish SMT on the daily time frame, because if I look at here on ES, we came up and we swept this Tuesday, this Tuesday daily high, while on NQ, that Tuesday daily high is all the way up here. So we do have a massive bearish S&T on the daily time frame, but the 4 hour and 2 hour were very bullish. It seems like we were respecting 4 hour and 2 hour bullish structure. So I wanted to first catch longs to this daily bearish value gap if possible, and hold this 4 hour as my condition for the bias, right? So I was like, all right, let us come down, tap into this, and then get an inverse out. If we respect this 4 hour, I'm down to long. But what ended up happening at market open was that, where is market open? Here, bang. Literally within that 5 minute candle of market open, we completely dumped, right? So we completely dumped at market open, especially on NQ. As you can see, even more than ES, we completely dumped. And as we got closer to 10 a.m., it was obvious to me that this 4 hour bullish gap was going to get inversed. So, if this 4 hour bullish gap gets inversed, I need to understand, okay, what is the next target? What is the next target? This next 4 hour unfilled bullish gap. Okay? If this 4 hour unfilled gap gets inversed, what is the next target? And at that point, the highest time frame fair value gap holding us from going lower is this 4 hour. If this gets inversed, then it's very obvious to me that we are going to come down and take out previous day low. So when I saw that both of these 4 hour bullish gaps were definitely going to get inversed, I switched my bias to bearish. Now I switch my bias to bearish when NQ is completely dumping and selling off, but ES I notice is coming up and tapping into this 5 minute bearish gap. So as NQ is all the way down here, okay, we're all the way down here. We already made such a big move. It's very clear to me that the bias is bearish for market open. And I see that ES is kind of like looking bullish. But when I see something like this, I don't see it as ES being bullish. I see it as ES stalling to then make the same move. And I've seen this like play out a bunch of times this year, where either NQ or ES just sells off, and the other one just has like a bullish reaction, temporary bullish reaction, like maybe like a 3 minute temporary bullish reaction, and then ends up following the index that is actually making the big move. So what I noticed was ES, while we're selling off, came up, tapped into this 5 minute bearish gap, and then had a 1 minute inverse. So that was my first trade of the day, because I saw we came up, we tapped into the 5 minute, we respected the 5 minute, and we came down and inversed this 1 minute bullish gap that we created on the way up to the 5. So at that point, I'm like, okay, what's happening here is that ES stalled, and now it's going to catch up to NQ and make that huge move down lower. So I entered off the 1 minute inverse, stops at the body above, and full TP. So I actually had full TP all the way down here. Okay, this was my full TP for ES. But once we took out Asia lows, which were right here on ES, I wanted to protect my position. So what did I do? I moved my stop loss to this 1 minute swing high. Okay, so I moved my stop loss to be significantly in profit. So we came up, we tapped into this 1 minute, we came down. I moved my stop to this 1 minute swing high, securing a 1 to 1.4 risk to reward short. Okay, so my stop loss was literally right here. My stop loss was a 1-to-1 in profit. Then price came up and I got stopped out in profit, a full 1-to-1 in profit, which is great. I could have held until lower, where it ended up playing out to my full TP, but I'm not mad about this at all because I got my piece of the pie, and then we continued lower. So then we continued lower, and we had. Okay, so then we continued lower. We created a 15-minute bearish gap here on NQ and on ES as well. So we had this 15-minute gap right here. We came up on NQ to tap into the 15-minute. And then I noticed that on ES, we didn't tap into the 15 minutes. So we had a bearish SMT at this 15-minute bearish gap right here, since NQ came up and tapped into it, but ES did not. So that was a good confluence. Those two confluences put together, along with the 3-minute inverse that we got after tapping into the 15-minute bearish gap, this was my entry for the second short, right? 3-minute inverse to the downside after coming up and tapping into the 15-minute bearish gap when previous day low is still intact, right? Previous day low is still intact. We get a 3-minute inverse to the downside after tapping into the 15-minute bearish gap. Bang, that's my entry. And then I also closed this one early. I took this on MNQ because the risk was too high on NQ. So I took it on MNQ and ended up closing at a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Because there was, so I TP1 at a 1-to-1 and then moved my stop to break even. TP1 and then ended up getting break even on that second trade. So two W shorts, two back to back continuation model shorts, which both played out. First one full TP at a 1-to-1, second one TP1 at a 1-to-1 and then break even. So overall, fucking great day, great way to come back into the week. I'm super happy that we were able to pull that off on a no news Wednesday. And yeah, I'm really happy with how I manage my risk, and also just like seeing these trades and not being married to my bias because I know that market open could do something completely different. Even though the higher time frame bias, like coming into the morning, I bet you 99% of traders had a bullish bias because that is the correct bias to have based on the information that you have coming into the morning. But as the New York session continues to play out live, you need to understand that that is in live time, in real time, changing the bias, right? Depending on what happens, you have to take that and you have to analyze it in real time. That's the hardest part about trading. But I saw that those 2 4 hours were definitely going to get inversed. So why was I bullish on the day? Because the 4 hours being respected. So if the 4 hour gets inverse, now I need to switch my bias. So I'm glad that I was able to do that and that we were able to catch some good trades. I hope to see you guys tomorrow on the live stream. Remember, those live streams are free. Join the Discord, unlimited free game in there, and we have a great time on stream. So see you guys later. Peace.